Of course, we've got teams across North Texas today who are keeping tabs on what's going on, and I want to check in with one of our reporters, Jobin Punaker, who is at the Haggard Library in Plano. Jobin, do we have you up this morning? There you are, dressed and ready to go. How's it look?
Dressing. Hey, those are the two good things about what's happening today. One, it's democracy at work, and two, I get to wear a jacket for once. It feels good to feel a little bit of the chill. But no, right? Yeah, we're here at the Haggard Library here in Plano. No lines right now. I just checked the Collin County website, and it says there's a 0-minute wait, and that's pretty much the case for a lot of places in Collin County right now. And of course, this morning was tough. It was the first. There was probably 2 or 3 locations that had about a 60-minute wait, and that's usually the way it works here in Collin County.
Well, I know that we've seen quite a substantial early voting turnout there in Collin County. Traditionally, you do see higher numbers than average there. Texas's overall voter turnout is abysmally low. That's a whole separate conversation. Why do you see so many folks, though, showing up to vote in Collin County?
What are the numbers we got? It was at 58% early voted here in Collin County. That is a ridiculous number. It is the highest in the state, outpaces everybody in the state, and it's not even close. That 58% accounts for about 438,000 voters. That's 438,000 registered voters of the 748,000, just to do some math there. So I think we calculated that out to like 35,000 people over the 12 days. That is not going to outpace what we saw in 2020. Keep in mind, 2020 is not an apples to apples comparison, because in 2020 we had six extra days of early voting, and we had extended hours on every one of those days. So we're not going to hit that mark. But the one thing about Collin County, having worked in this area for some time, is keep in mind you got to understand it skews a little bit older, and so you have a lot of people who are retired in these bedroom communities. We're talking about Allen, Plano, McKinney, Frisco. So they can arrive at one of these polling stations at their leisure, and so we're seeing a lot of that, and that accounts for that 58%.
Well, certainly always want to see as many folks show up to cast their ballot as you can, but it always helps that you've got a competitive race as well. Of course, at the top of the ballot, we've got Donald Trump and Kamala Harris neck and neck, but there's some other races locally that you guys are watching there. I know there's a big one for Texas House District 70.
That's Mihaela Plesa going up against Steve Kinard. I did a story about this last week, and I think that the way I said it was this was the race that the Democrats flipped in 2022. And could reflip now in 2024 in favor of the Republicans. That's how close it was. Now it was ridiculously close against Jamie Jolly and Mihaela Plesa in 2022. It came down to 821 votes. So it was ridiculously close. So here we have in this race Steve Kinard and Mihaela Plesa. One is a former congressional freshman. The other one is a political novice, and they're going up against each other. And this should be a really, really tight one.
Well, and a lot of kind of subplots to this one as well. You've got immigration and education, 2 big topics there. You've got school choice is kind of floating around the background, even though the legislature isn't in session right now. That's still kind of hanging around too. So really a lot of subplots to this one.
Yeah, let's start with education. Steve Kinard has said he is for school choice. He's being backed by Governor Abbott. On the other hand, you have Mihaela Plesa, who's complete 180 of that, against school choice. She calls it a voucher scam, and she says the only way to fix public education in Collin County and in the state of Texas is by increasing the state allotment, the amount of money that goes to each student. The student allotment by $1,000, and that's the way some of these districts can catch up and make up for a lot of those deficit budgets that we all know about.
Well, again, one of the many races we've got our close eyes on, one of the polling places where folks are showing up today, but a big one in Collin County as we check in with Jobin Punaker. Thanks for the update, Jobin. Have fun out there. Look forward to checking in with you in just a bit to see how things develop. I imagine as the lunch hour gets closer, you mentioned that 0-minute wait, that'll kind of pick up. But again, thanks, Jobin, from the Haggard Library in Plano.
Thanks, Mark.